Virgo, a lot of us are faced right now with some really heavy decisions, and you have not escaped that fate. Your decisions lie in reconciling. That's the right word. What you wanted for somebody and what they showed you. What you hoped for somebody and what they chose. What's interesting is, what do we do with our disappointments? What do we do with our sadness and our grief, so that it's validated and somehow has some sort of meaning? Well, what you do best is learn. You like to be educated. It comforts you. Research and the exploration of, or deeper inquiry into intellect, of informing yourself, empowers you, so that you don't feel like you walk into a room completely naked or bare, because you always have your intellect or your set of facts, your arsenal of facts that you can dig into, to talk about and articulate and argue with and demonstrate a mental prowess that most other people don't have, an acuity for thought. How shitty it is then when you have this beautiful ability to keep your life together, that somebody that you love so much doesn't. And trying to sort of make sense of that, that's not an intellectual process. That's an emotional one. Because it doesn't make any sense. And emotions don't make any sense. And sometimes they can get too fuzzy for you. They can get too crazy for you. And you can retreat. And when you retreat, you will retreat into your intellect. You'll retreat deeper into, I need to understand why. Getting an answer, a quantifiable answer. And I think that that's okay. I think it's okay because in a lot of ways, you end up being a resource for a lot of people that need it. And in so doing, find a purpose for yourself at a time where, it could be very difficult to feel purposeful, or feeling like, what's the purpose of being purposeful? Sometimes it just feels that way. But there is this wonderful hope that comes from finding out truths about somebody that actually help you to have more faith in them. Being able to maybe even in some ways defend them or defend their character or understand them better by finally understanding aspects of their life that they might not have been so forthcoming with. But ultimately, there is just this sense of when certain things are brought to light about whatever you're looking into, there is almost a beautiful, I would say, catharsis, because that's my word of the day, but it's really the word of the week, because this is that time when we can close out old emotions, but we have to first feel them. And this is what's tough. This is realizing that, wow, when I look at the cards, somebody was going through some really rough shit. And in a lot of ways, you were just too together for them to even feel comfortable being around. maybe even at some point they were always feeling like they were asking for help. Now you love to be helpful. That's one of your things. Like you just like, what? Is there a problem for me to solve? Let me do it. Like da 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 da. That's just like the perfect goal for a Virgo, is to try to get somebody back to a place that makes sense, right? And you can always find that place that makes sense. But there is now a sense of doubt in yourself. Simply because you're sort of reflecting on this situation and you're thinking, well, then why couldn't I help? Why didn't this person trust me? Why wouldn't they listen to me? Was I not helpful enough? Did I not do enough? Could I have done more? You can only do as much as somebody will allow you to do. That makes sense, right? You know, it's ultimately so only so far. And I think that's why you're digging. That's why you're researching. That's why you're looking. There's such a comfort in the understanding that's coming from what you're finding out, because you have to make sense of things. Then really just digging is what you need to do right now to find out these answers to your personal questions about what's going on. Because this is somebody that you are really attached to. You can't stop thinking of. I don't know if they're male or female. That doesn't really matter. What matters is their impact on you. And then you're starting to think to yourself, well, this is a really rotten situation. This is a really bad thing that we've gotten ourselves into, or that they've gotten themselves into. Almost inescapable pain or torture or suffering, because this is really falling on, this is a horrible situation. This is like falling into the pit of hell and writhing and suffering. That's what it is. Almost feeling like people are bringing suffering and pain on themselves. And now there's that contradiction, there's that conflict. Well, it's like you can feel that judgmental side wanting to rise in you. You can feel that side wanting to just tell everybody off and scream and yell at them, because like, hello, you fools, why can't you figure out that you're just making things worse? In some ways, you've already made the judgment. In some ways, you've already made the judgment that this is the person's fault. It's all their fault, and that they deserve what they're getting because they got themselves into the situation. They're the ones that made the bad decisions that got them twisted up and crazy to begin with. Through their own immaturity and inexperience, they've made some really stupid choices, and now there's a suffering that's happening. So, but see, what you have to realize is that's already a criticism. That's already a judgment. It's almost like to a certain degree, you've already made a judgment, but that's what you're feeling so shitty about in some ways. A sense of, well, who am I to judge, right? Or who am I to, be that condemning, that sense of like, am I wrong? Like maybe counter arguments, or as you research, finding things out and learning things are starting to make you realize that there are aspects to the situation that you did not incorporate or know before you made that overarching conclusion, right? And so now it's like, as new things start to pop up, you start wondering, well, was I right? And now there's that conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest will only be resolved by you continuing to research. Because really what your mind is doing now, it's asking more questions. It's got to that point where, okay, I need to know more. I want to know more. And that's wonderful, because what that means is you really haven't drawn a conclusion. What that means is that you still want to understand more before you make a decision, because there is this sense of, something's up, something's wrong, you can smell a rat, or you can that there's blame somewhere, but now it's like uncertain where. There's wonderful person, like somebody who really holds you down. And it could be them that's actually opening your mind and starting to pose questions that make you think about things or see things in a different way. They are probably male, or you are the one that is male, and you're probably like making other people see things in a different way, like bringing this information to them so that they start to see and understand things from a perspective that isn't so easy to judge, and it's more inspiration to like, okay, well, why don't we just go help people? You know, why don't we help them get out of this, because we don't want to see any more carnage. We don't want to see any more pain or suffering or sorrow. We want to end that, and the only way to end that is to sort of come to the little guy's aid, come to his defense, come to this, not necessarily come to their defense, but like shed light based on what you know, right? Self-worth is here too, with questioning your beliefs. That feeling of not feeling good enough, that feeling of struggling to understand your beauty, having been separated from that concept of your beauty, maybe even you stop believing in yourself because of, because of your beliefs, or because of how you're questioning your beliefs and how you feel right now. There's just this sense of doubt that maybe you never experienced before. Now, I can say this is somebody that's really, really important to you. And in a lot of ways, they were somebody who kind of taught you to feel better and love yourself better. So in other words, this is a really complex situation, because this was a person who made you see things differently. It made you see that you weren't valued. This person made you see that you weren't valuing yourself the way that you were supposed to. And they made you question why. And they started you on this path of loving yourself better, loving yourself stronger, feeling better about yourself, thinking differently, and in thinking differently, feeling more free, feeling more liberated, getting more information, understanding things from different perspectives. And ultimately, now there's this perspective that really clashes with something that you really believe in, but ultimately you believe in them a little bit more. Interesting. Say yes. Say yes to love, because the bottom line is you don't have to completely agree with everything that somebody does to believe in them and know they're being honest with you. Love your body. This is definitely maybe a sign of engagement. Like, this would be the person that you get together with. This would be the person who actually comes into your life, or is already your anchor, your main squeeze, your husband or wife, or you're their husband, or somebody's about to pop the question, because ultimately there's just a sense of they love everything about you, and you know that they love everything about you because they make you feel beautiful. And now there's a sense of, I have happiness, not misery, on the other side. I've gotten myself back, getting yourself back to a place of feeling beautiful because this person is in your life, right? And a sense of, now you have the ability to, instead of judge and condemn, you now have the ability to educate and inspire. Give that light and spread it. And that's really kind of what you've been doing. You've been creating mechanisms to continue to spread, create and then spread a word that you believe in, or protect and teach and educate people about this person that you believe in, because maybe people got them wrong, and that's just not something that you're willing to let happen. Virgo, let's get into your spirit guide messages. Spirit guide messages. What do you need to tell Virgo? Virgo, please, Virgo. Okay. Let's see where we start out. Just in the past, just a little bit in the past, a little bit. Truth coming out. Truth transcends illusion. So really discovering or finding out something, probably that maybe a person tried to keep from you, or just an overarching truth, a large truth, a community truth, because this is Aquarian energy. This is something that would have changed you and changed your perspective on things in a way that you couldn't go back, because Dragonfly energy is transformative energy, and it represents a permanent change, a change from one state of being sort of a leveling up to your mature state. So in other words, things have changed in the way that you see things, in the way that you know things, and they can't change back. This is a truth that had come out. It was very public. It was a star. This is the star card. This is double Aquarian energy, which is really interesting because both Saturn and Jupiter go into Aquarius this month, the 15th and 17th respectively. And then Jupiter and Saturn are really in a tight, almost kissing conjunction in the sky on December 21st, which is the winter solstice. So ultimately, there's a lot of Aquarius energy floating around. And you know, Aquarius energy is rebellion. Aquarius energy is challenging established beliefs. So really that Aquarius energy, so whatever's been brought to light, whatever story you've just read or information that's just been served to you, or whatever just like sort of whatever just happened to this person, or whatever this person just told you that sort of like made your eyes shoot back, this is changing your belief and your understanding of things that you had sort of drawn conclusions on before. It's shaking it up a little bit, but in a way that you can handle, because there's that intellectual element that you can handle. Spirit has a plan. So this has got to do with something that is above you, like a larger scale thing. It's also a sense of this could be a boss, or God, or the universe itself could be represented here, just by saying this is out of your hands. It's not something that you have a part in. It's something that you can only bear witness to and then react to, because it's happening outside of you or above you. And then we have time for a deep dive. So this is big love. So a concern for a community, a concern for a faith, a concern for religion, just falling in love with spirituality and having a relationship with the universe itself, or God, or however you perceive it. So in other words, this is a very spiritual change for you. It's like almost like a spiritual awakening that brings you back to faith, because something has happened that kind of opened your mind back up to it. Surrender now, like a moth to a flame. So this is this is complete and total faith, not even worried about getting burned, not even worried about the crash on the other side. And for a Virgo to be in an unusual situation and not be worried is for a Virgo to really have walked through the gates of maturity and take and evolved, like 100%. There's this essence of complete faith. I'll go where you lead, or something could have been a sense of something coming to a conclusion, or somebody that you really cared about being put into a dangerous predicament, or going through something really hard right now. And I think that if that's happening, a lot is being revealed about them, about underlying things that were happening in their life. And that's why there's a deeper understanding. Some things that maybe you didn't even want to know, but ultimately those are the things that are coming out. And this is all the stuff you have to process. Spirit has your back. So you'll be getting divine messages from Spirit, because that's what this means when the card comes out. It's like, but this is also governmental. It could imply governmental. That's what it could imply. It could also, it really just basically says that Spirit has a plan for you. And this is powered and fueled by the cosmos, by fate, or even maybe orchestrated by the government itself. There's just sort of a plan at stake here. Set healthy boundaries to protect and defend yourself and your family. In other words, this is coming at you. This is going to come at you all at once. And it's almost going to be an emotional shock for you. Something that you don't want to handle. And it's something that's very heavy to carry. And it feels like it's crushing you. So this is definitely deep impact. And then we have take a leap of faith, which is exactly what it says it is. The best course of action here for you, Virgo, is to go back to your sense of spirituality or religion, that if you have one, and remember to also kind of have faith in this person again, even if something's happening that's wrong. It's a sense of, should we love this person? Should I love this person? Or should I reach out to this person and connect to them? You know, there's just a sense of, well, you already know the answer. What do you feel is right? Even though it's a burden, even though you're afraid, you know, because maybe this person has brought in chaos and confusion into your life before. Transformation. So this is also a permanent change, scorpionic energy. So it's a sense of the butterfly dies in the chrysalis. The caterpillar dies in the chrysalis because it literally disintegrates into particles that can then reconfigure into a butterfly. But it's literally basically like its own evolution period inside the chrysalis. It's taking those elements and rebuilding it in a different way so that there's no more caterpillar. So this is a beautiful card that represents catharsis, because ultimately there has been a death. We see it as a birth, and it is a birth. It's the birth of the butterfly, but the birth of the butterfly means the death of the caterpillar. And that's something that that's the price to pay. There's always an ebb and flow and a give and take. You know, the butterfly doesn't exist if the caterpillar still does. That's just the bottom line. Now, maybe you don't care because you're like, are you kidding me? A butterfly, it's so much better than a caterpillar. I don't know. Maybe you're not a cat, but I don't know. What if you're a caterpillar fan? I don't know. But the bottom line is, this is a permanent change and awakening to a reality or a truth that cannot be gone back on. But also, it's like, I can't unsee this. So what do I do with it? That kind of thing. Time to let go. It's gnawing your heart, and there's a lot of suffering and pain. This is very scorpionic energy, so it could very well be somebody bridging the gap between life and death, but also just a sense of truth and distruth, a real hardship with letting go, because letting go is, especially for Virgo energy, letting go itself can be a suffering. Oh, no. And I understand that you guys are really good at cutting people off when they've pissed you off and when you're done with them. But that's not what's going on here. This is not somebody that you were done with. This is somebody that you were forced to make a decision about, or forced to know something about, or hear something about. And now it's like, you got to find out how to handle the information, because you can't take it back once it's been said. Trust in the magic. So this is a new beginning, a new start, a complete and total new perspective, and a new chance. Let's put it that way. And maybe it's just getting to know somebody new. Maybe, your favorite professor has left and you really love the class, and now you think, oh, the class is going to suck because there's a new professor. But now it's just a sense of learning how to work with somebody new, especially by incorporating all of those beautiful lessons that person taught you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what did they teach you about collaborating? What did that person, are you, in other words, finding a way to incorporate them so that you don't actually have to let go of them, that kind of sense. If you're using, just like the butterfly uses the caterpillar as its building blocks, use the understanding and what they taught you and how they opened up your mind, and use what they taught you as the building blocks for this new relationship and this new opportunity. So Virgo, there's a link below to the extended video. Hop on over, because what I'm going to do is articulate the energies so that you can get like a detailed play-by-play. And then, of course, the romance reading is over there too. That link is below. But hang around for the angel card readings, because that's where I'm moving into now, and they're my favorite part. So these are the angel card readings, voices of angels coming to you. What do you need to know, Virgo? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, and ring the bell so you get notified every time I upload, especially on Fridays, because every Friday I come out with a new Virgo specific video. So if you subscribe, you'll get that when it's fresh off the press. And you ring that bell so you get notification. Also join me daily, Monday through Friday on Instagram. I do a daily tarot card reading, just a general reading, but it's live so we can interact. And that's, like I said, on Instagram, which is born_without_boundaries. And that's where you can find me, over on Instagram. And last but not least, the actual Vimeo videos, you can subscribe over on Vimeo, because that's a Born Without Boundaries platform as well. And when you do, you actually get access to the extended, which, yes, can be standalone readings. You can get access to that a whole day before the post on YouTube comes out. So just an FYI, all these possibilities and ways that I appreciate you supporting the channel. So thank you so much. So there's these cards are slow to come out, Virgo. I mean, I'm happy with, it's fine. I'm good with just not, that's fine. Wisdom. Everything has a place and a purpose. To be wise is to have great love, tolerance, and compassion for all things. So there's a difference between wisdom and knowledge, and I think that that's where you're growing and understanding. That you can know something but still not understand it. And wisdom is that comprehension that's based on experience. And that's definitely what this instance is pushing you to do, is pushing you over that threshold into a new phase in your life where you're more wise than you are smart, right? Or you don't need to be smart. You just, sometimes the wisest person is the one with their mouth shut, right? Do it now. Don't put it off any longer. Have courage. Listen to your intuition, for it is the guiding voice of your soul. Go and get any information that you need. Do it now, and don't question yourself. If there's an itch under your skin about something, allow yourself to resolve it. Vision. A positive outcome requires a positive vision. Visualize everyone involved in your present situation surrounded by light and love. Make sure to include yourself also. That's key for you guys. Your love has the power to influence and transform the current events. Yes, it does. The unknown. Do not fear the unknown. This is a time of deep exploration and transformation. Two things that you are very, very challenging for you. Unfamiliar territory leads to new horizons. In other words, it's going to end up better than you think. You know, let's see where this is headed. I'm going to hop on over to tarot. Thank you so much for following me over. I'll see you guys there.